So today I'm going to share with you 3 key strategies and philosophies to drive better productivity and efficiency out of your outbound lead generation efforts. So for those that don't know me, my name's Mark. I run Scale Media, which is an outbound lead generation agency. So what that basically means is that I've got dozens of staff that are doing outbound lead generation activities like cold calling, social media chat strategies, email strategies to generate leads for clients. So in order to do this and to do this at scale, you need very good systems and very good processes there that ultimately not just moves those leads across to the client, but also means that those that are doing the outbound lead generation activities stay in their wheelhouse and can maximize for productivity and efficiency. So that's really the key strategy, is when you look at things in an outbound sense, what you're optimizing for is output. You want your cold callers cold calling, you want your chatters chatting, and emailers, well, putting that into the system and running it and monitoring those inboxes. That's really key. So to get around this, what we do is cold callers as an example. I don't want my cold callers in my CRM at all. They're not detailed people, and ultimately I want them talking to people on the phone. So I make things very easy for them. I put it into an Excel document, give them a list of numbers, and I want them to track the outcome of that within a Google Sheet. Any updating of that information can go to a virtual assistant to update that directly into the CRM, but ultimately the cold caller is there to jump on the phone, put it in a manual dialer, and just dial numbers all day. That way I get an output of 200 to 300 dials per caller, rather than 100 and someone's in a CRM and not getting the output we're after, because ultimately cold outreach is an output game. So let's go on to the second strategy, and that's the CRM. What we want to do with our CRM is automate as much as possible. So it's not that I don't give access to our cold callers the CRM. They can still input information, they just don't get full access to actually go in there and change anything. I give them links to forms and that sort of thing that they can just fill out, and that automatically updates. So there's some automation going on there. But from there, we also want to automate our workflows as much as possible to make things easy for sales guys. Sales guys need access to the CRM. But in order to do that and make it easy for them, we want to try to auto trigger as much as we can. So if they've got an appointment booked in their calendar, we want emails going out, we want text messages going out. Once that call's complete, we want to be able to make it easy for them to just trigger off and update that in their pipeline so things happen as automatically as possible. As part of that as well, we want to, again, see where we can minimize the people actually going into the CRM. So at scale, I've got one person plus myself that have full admin rights to be able to go around and change automations and make automations. Then from there, we've got our sales guys that come in and a couple of VAs that can update anything for either ourselves or our clients. So that's the key, is try to minimize the number of people in there as much as possible, but give them ways that they can input information like forms and that sort of thing. And number 3 strategy or philosophy of outbound lead generation is stats driving everything. So at the end of the day, I get our cold callers to update stats in 3 spots. That sounds like probably too much work. I wish it was easier, but I've just found that there's different ways that reporting needs to happen, and I get them to do that because it shows me the results that they're getting behind a campaign quicker. If you can get a CRM to do some of the stats driving, that's great. But if not, purely through Excel sheets and that sort of thing, that works really well. But everything you do from an outbound perspective needs to be tracked, and therefore you can make changes accordingly. So those are a few key, behind the scenes strategies and philosophies that I always use to drive my business forward, and you can use if you're doing outbound lead generation as well. Talk soon.